A controversial image from social media sparks campus conversations.
And a $1 million donation brings the new School of Business closer to reality.
Carolina News Today starts right now.
Carolina News Today is brought to you in part by the Wing Company of Pembroke, serving award-winning wings fresh, not frozen. Live Entertainment Weekly, 703 West 3rd Street in Pembroke. 10% discount for students and teachers every day. TheOriginalWingCo.com.
Christians nationwide mourn the loss of a renowned North Carolinian.
And the men's basketball team continues to dominate their conference. Hello, I'm Alexis Clinton.
And I'm Bryant Reed. A photo that spread like wildfire across social media sparked controversy on campus, resulting in a demonstration by African-American students this Thursday. This picture was airdropped to iPhones in the University Center and made the rounds among many more. It says, "When you just want to fit in with the black girls," and features a selfie of a UNCP student wearing what appears to be brown makeup. Concerned students held a, quote, blackout to discuss their demands for diversity training and other measures the university could take. Student and faculty leaders addressed the group, and Chancellor Cummings shared his reaction, which he had also published earlier in the week. One of the organizers, Triana Springfield, told us why they felt they needed to come together.
The protest was a peaceful, non-aggressive way for the student body to address their concerns, as well as talk to the faculty, administrative, and staff about how they would like to see change implemented in our community.
The student has been identified as a current member of Tri Sigma sorority, and the photo dates to 2015. If administrators know who recirculated it, they're not saying, because of federal privacy laws. Springfield says she hopes the student in the photo has changed.
I hope that Kayla has taken from this incident to be more culturally sensitive and more aware of her actions. Everybody's on social media now, so whenever you take a picture, that becomes available not just to people in your community, but to the world, and it reflects not only on yourself, but also the community that you stay in. So I hope that she educates herself, because ignorance is a lot of time the cause of prejudices and racism in America as well as our community. But I hope that we move forward to implement change and educate others so that something like this won't happen again.
Teens and adults gathered at a church in Raleigh Tuesday to honor victims of the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida. After a vigil, they also marched down Hillsborough Street to the state capitol. They're demanding safer schools through stricter gun control laws. The demonstration was organized mostly by Wake County students who were joined by clergy who noted thoughts and prayers just aren't enough these days.
Here on campus, students were alerted at 2 a.m. Saturday morning about two men allegedly carrying guns at Pembroke Point Apartments. In an email and Brave Alert, campus police said only that one man was wearing a black hoodie and one was in a camouflage hoodie. Later in the day, safety officials said they found no subjects fitting the description and no threat to public safety. Although North Carolina is an open carry state, Pembroke Point is a private property that does not allow guns on the premises.
A Rayford couple is gifting $1 million to UNCP towards completion of the new School of Business. A leading turkey farmer in the region, Wyatt Upchurch, and his wife Mary will name the building's auditorium in honor of their son, who died from leukemia back in 1976. Mr. Upchurch said he learned business at the School of Hard Knocks, but he hopes the new building will attract many enthusiastic students to a formal business education.
The Reverend Billy Graham has died. The legendary Baptist minister and evangelist passed away at the age of 99 at his home in North Carolina Wednesday. Graham was one of the most influential voices in modern American spirituality. He prayed with every U.S. president from Harry Truman to Barack Obama and preached to more than 215 million people in nearly 200 countries.
With flu activity in North Carolina continuing to spread, state health officials continue to encourage vaccinations. They say the vaccine has decreased the risk of getting the flu by about a third. The vaccination doesn't prevent all forms of influenza, but it does help protect people who are at a higher risk. 165 people have died in the state from complications of the flu this season. Of those deaths, 118 have been people 65 years or older. Doctors urge treatment as early as possible, so contact your personal doctor as soon as possible if you think you're coming down with the flu.
UNCP played host to the annual Region 4 Science Fair Saturday for students in elementary school all the way up to high school. CNT reporter John Hicks explored the event and talked to judges and competitors alike.
The annual North Carolina Region 4 Science Fair was held in the auxiliary gym on campus. Some of the judges got to the event bright and early at 6:50 in the morning to start inspecting the science fair entries. I asked one of the judges what was some of the criteria they were judging for.
My specific subject was chemistry, but there were a lot of different topics as far as psychology, sociology, geology, and physics, a lot of physics actually. Out of the 9 we looked at, one talking about limestone in lake water, I believe it was. The student was measuring how limestone affects the pH of the water and how that can affect wildlife.
I learned that in my lake that we have a lot of fish that are only in our lake, and I learned that there's very little wildlife in the lakes around me, and so I wanted to see if the limestone in our lake affected the other lakes.
After the judges were done with inspecting the entries, they were set to interview the students with the best projects. I asked another judge about the complexities of the interview.
Actually, I had a group of 2 other students with me, and my main role was to kind of, since I'm the short one, to kind of get on the level of the students and to ask them what inspired them to do their projects, why they were here pretty much, if they had really any help with the project, so say a parent might have really worked on a project or something. Basically, I was there to make them comfortable and to explain their science to us. That's kind of what we were here for. We're here to inspire these children and to get them to want to go into science, to know that it's not something you shouldn't be scared of it all the time. So that's really why I wanted to be here and help judge.
The science fair ended with an informative speech and a presentation on how to properly create a science fair project. For Carolina News Today, I'm John Hicks.
A student organization at UNCP has brought home big awards from their state conference. The Residence Hall Association attended the event at Meredith College. 8 delegates from Pembroke attended, with the main goals of growing their leadership skills and networking with other schools. The organization, the North Carolina Association of Residence Halls, recognized Pembroke's group with multiple awards, including the Spirit Award, Best Roll Call Award for their skit, and Ayanna Williams was sworn into the State Board of Directors. CNT reporter, producer David Brown III is the student advisor to RHA, and he came home with his 4-year service pin.
Chronic back pain is a widespread problem, but some people fear surgery. Doctors at Johns Hopkins say there are plenty of alternatives.
Back pain is categorized as chronic when it lasts 3 months or longer. And while surgery may be necessary in some cases, doctors at Johns Hopkins say there are alternatives. Physical therapy can help with back pain. Patients learn better posture, gain flexibility, and core strength, all of which helps their condition improve. Yoga and meditation can help fight the emotional turmoil that comes from coping with chronic back pain. Mindfulness exercises can train your mind to not focus on the physical discomfort. Changes in your diet and other lifestyle modifications may also help relieve back pain. Other non-surgical options include massage and acupuncture, nerve ablations where nerves are destroyed to ease pain, and anti-inflammatory medications or muscle relaxants might help. Also, give up the smokes. Johns Hopkins says nicotine has been known to make pain worse and slow down the healing process. These tips may help you avoid surgery and the long recovery process. Remember to discuss any course of action with your doctor.
A North Carolina couple is facing murder charges in a case that's been haunting their community for years. Officials say Sandy and Erika Parsons were indicted on first-degree murder and other charges for allegedly killing their adoptive daughter, Erika. The Parsons are currently serving a federal sentence for collecting Erika's benefits after she disappeared. But they're expected to face new charges in Rowan County in the coming weeks.
There were times I did not, and I'm not going to make any bones about it, but if Lieutenant Moose hadn't have grabbed this thing and embraced it the way he's done, we wouldn't be here today.
A student in North Carolina is in jail after reportedly threatening to blow up his high school twice. Officials say he was arrested after his first threat, but he did the same thing again right after he bonded out. CNN News Source reports.
And this is just a prime example. What can happen if you make a threat?
It's a warning you might not want to take for granted. Alamance County Sheriff Terry Johnson has already had to arrest one student for making threats.
Things like this that may come back and really happen, and we just can't turn our back on it.
Sheriff Johnson says he has no idea why the student would threaten to harm his school, Clover Garden Charter, The sheriff booked the teen on February 5th after deputies arrested him. But it wasn't until February 12th, the day he bonded out, that put him in even more trouble. Sheriff Johnson says the teenager threatened to blow up the school again.
Getting out of jail, just walked out the door and made that statement, I think a judge is going to look at it pretty serious.
Now he's in the jail, waiting on what could be some serious charges.
He could get some time.
And it's this message Sheriff Johnson wants students to remember and never forget.
We're not going to take any chances. You make a threat, you're going to be charged.
Last semester, we told you about chemical leaks into groundwater associated with the Chemours facility in Bladen County. Now we've learned that the chemical company has been cited for failure to take required actions after a December letter from the Department of Environmental Quality. The department says Chemours must treat or control stormwater and wastewater and reduce emissions into the air that might be causing groundwater contamination. Rainfall mixed with their chemical Gen X caused contaminated stormwater to be discharged into the Cape Fear River in November. Gen X pollution back in October resulted in contaminated wells at homes near the plant. Those residents are still receiving bottled water.
Braves baseball faces their first real test of the season.
And the basketball program faces tough opponents at home.
Sports are up next with Dolphus Pearson III. But first, this message from the North Carolina Department of Transportation.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm your host, Miracle King. Though wintertime is still here for a few more weeks yet, it's not too soon to start thinking about your summertime vacation plans along the Outer Banks. It will soon be faster to connect to some areas via a new passenger ferry.
In an effort to lessen summertime congestion on the current Hatteras to Ocracoke car ferry route, the department is working to get a new passenger ferry up and running by midsummer. Passengers will be able to make a reservation and walk onto a ferry that will take them to Ocracoke Village in just over an hour, bypassing waits on the vehicle ferries. Once on Ocracoke, shuttle service will be available to take visitors around the village. Crews have broken ground on parking improvements and visitor facilities while the ferry is estimated to be complete in late June. Before then, why not help the state do some spring cleaning through the Adopt a Highway program? People wanting to participate now have a user-friendly tool that shows routes available for cleanup in all 100 North Carolina counties. NCDOT's Roadside Environmental Unit has launched a new litter management website that helps volunteers view their assigned routes, markets the Sponsor a Highway program, and makes it easier for groups to report the amount of litter they collect. To get involved, visit the website and see what routes are available near you. And lastly, applications are being accepted for summer internships at the department in majors such as communications, public administration, information technology, and engineering. These programs, which run from May through August, allow students to learn about the work done at the department and gain valuable exposure. To apply, visit the site below and search for internships. Applications are due by March 9th.
That's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. Please stay connected with us on Facebook and Twitter at NCDOT. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at NCDOT.com. From all of us here at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
The Braves golf team flew down to Lakeland, Florida over the weekend to compete in the Lady Mock Classic hosted by Florida Southern University. It was the first plane ride in program history. Junior Alexandria Bear shot an even par 72. Madison Corley shot one over par 73 to lead the Braves to an 8th place finish overall. Bear finished the tournament tied for 25th place, and Corley came in at 29th. The Braves will be back in action on March 5th when they drive to Windermere, Florida to compete in the Peggy Kirk Bell Invitational. Softball freshman sensation Breezy Yelton has grabbed Peach Belt Freshman of the Week honors. Yelton registered a perfect 3-0 record over the weekend while registering an amazing ERA of 0.00. That means that she gave up 0 runs in all 3 games. She gave up a whip of less than a hit per inning and dominated the Indians in 3 complete game victories. Yelton currently boasts a record of 4-1 on the season with an ERA of 2.01 and 3 shutouts to date. Later, the softball team had a 2-game series Wednesday against Wingate University. In Game 1, freshman Kara Davis blasted a two-run homer to propel the Braves past the Wingate 11-6. Mary Sells registered 3 runs for the Braves, and Alice Watkins had an impressive performance as well, collecting 3 RBIs. In Game 2, the Bulldogs presented more of a challenge for the Braves, who went scoreless through the first 6 innings. However, the Braves switched gears in the 7th after a solo homer by Kara Davis, sparking 2 more runs in the same inning. The Braves will go on to defeat Wingate 3-2. They'll face Carson Newman on Saturday at the Mid-South Classic in Duncan, South Carolina. Baseball suffered their first loss of the season over the weekend, falling to Augusta State 18-16 Friday in Game 1 of a 3-game series. The Braves were led in the game by Trey Jacobs, who collected 5 hits and 2 RBIs. On Saturday, the Braves bounced back by winning with a score of 8-4. Ethan Balcom and Jared Mobley both scored 2 runs apiece. Sunday provided more success for the Braves as they pulled out a narrow 9-8 victory. The men will be back on the diamond Friday to take on Lander University at home. Coming off their win Saturday against Clayton State, the women's basketball team was back in action Wednesday at home against Francis Marion in the annual Neon Night game. The first half presented several problems for the Lady Braves, who shot a disappointing 5 for 30 from the field in the first half. That had them trailing the Patriots by 17 points as they headed into the locker room. The Lady Braves simply couldn't get it together in the second half as they suffered a frustrating loss to Francis Marion with the final score of 65-50. The men battled it out with Francis Marion as well. They were coming off of a tough loss to Clayton State. The Braves went back and forth with the lead against the Patriots in the Jones Center. However, they found themselves in the tie ball game with 6 minutes remaining in the contest. James Murray Bowles was the star of the night, contributing 18 points and 6 rebounds as the Braves win a nail-biter against Francis Marion, 66-60. That's it for me. If you're interested in local high school hoops and football recruiting coverage, follow me on Twitter at Dolph_WNCP. Back to the studio.
DP, you always provide us with great content. I'm Alexis Clinton.
And I'm Bryant Reed. Next week, we'll wrap up with Black History Month. See you then.